It can stand for a variety of aims or ambitions. What has a greater impact on style is how an artist stands in relationship to his or her intention. This may sound complicated, but it's not. How someone holds the brush will determine a lot. Intention does matter, but the impulse guiding the hand often differs, is even of a different type from that described in the wall text. Call it pragmatism. As Frank O'Hara wrote with characteristic ebullience in Personism, a Manifesto, it's just common sense. If you're going to buy a pair of pants, you want them to be tight enough so everyone will want to go to bed with you. There's nothing metaphysical about it. Artists have long been involved with all manner of ideas, but really big ideas are few and far between. George Balanchine, whose choreography bristled with ideas about modernity, musicality, tempo, fashion, abstraction, faith, the new woman, etc., didn't much like to talk about any of them. He famously told his biographer to imagine that he was writing the story of a racehorse. The ideas came out in his style. In our own era, average-sized ideas, that is to say most ideas, are easy. Frank again. They're just ideas. Often what passes for an idea is, on closer inspection, really propaganda. Someone wants something, wants to promote something. The hard part is finding a form. The most convincing works tend to be those in which the thinking is inseparable from the doing. The big idea people will always be among us, but are more often to be found talking to credulous collectors or to themselves. Nothing wrong with big ideas, but they aren't especially relevant to figuring out how something works, or doesn't. I doubt if anyone ever loved a painting because of the ideas it supposedly contains, though there are plenty of examples of the reverse. And being able to explain a work of art, to spin a narrative around it, does not make it good. Good intentions don't help much either. Would that it were so easy. The late sculptor Ken Price put it best, "Nothing I can say is going to improve how it looks." Sometimes what we call an idea is really more of an enthusiasm, the passing intellectual weather. Artists are curious. They pursue all kinds of obscure knowledge. Some like to do research, and art seems like as good a place as any to show off one's interests. The ideas with staying power are those that intersect with an artist's inclination for form, causing it to deepen and expand, like a paper flower that blooms when you put it in water. The right idea, one that is in productive sync with one's talents, can unlock a whole worldview. If that idea is also part of a sensibility that is forming and spreading in the larger culture or zeitgeist, a multiplier effect comes into play, and the art will resonate strongly with the viewing public. We will feel that it expresses us. A desire to feel that synchronicity has led some artists, as well as critics, to seek out the big idea in advance. In practice, achieving that resonance is virtually impossible to map out ahead of time. Too many factors are involved. I am, by temperament, a little wary of art that too directly tries to express its cultural moment. Besides, what is left once that moment has passed? Most art that projects a sense of vitality responds to, indeed is part of, the situation, cultural, historical, intellectual, in which the artist finds herself. It could hardly be otherwise. But the correspondence is seldom one-to-one. Art that shores up an already ratified position or illustrates today's headlines is likely to have a brief shelf life. If good art illustrates anything at all, it's likely to be a story you didn't even know needed telling. What is art, anyway? Do we need to know? Can't we just be satisfied with John Baldessari's dictum, "Art is anything an artist does," and let it go at that? It's a little broad. The essays in this collection start with the premise that art is something someone made. Art in things was the architect Charles Voysey's credo for the arts and crafts movement around the turn of the last century, and it still has a nice ring to it. Because art, even what's known as conceptual art, is also a thing. Someone made